they linger in the dark. Climb from below, temples and tombs will fall down. Explore the realms, what is meant to be, take it all. Obey, hear the voice of God, and the best come to your sacred land. Make way to the afterlife. What was once your palace, now your grave. Awaken your soul, dive and devour the Red Sea. Take control and drown the enemies. Across the vast wild desert, move your feet along to the rhythm of the sand. Rise and shove it off your spear. Aim your bow, make them bow down in fear. Chaos and new beginnings, find your destiny in the magic and the omen of the mind.
Hey, to have peace, yes, Lord, there must be strife. I already see the end of life. I accepted death, my eyes are open. I read and told them there's a light. Eternal life awaits me, yes. No one can dare deny me. I'll gladly give my life. All my people in my kingdom point the way. There's a small price to pay. To God to pray every day. To the promised land, I understand the higher the highest height and the lower the lowest depths. I'm not afraid of my last breath. Life ain't nothing but a test. May the gods only know what's next.
Alarms, hear the voice of God, and the best come to your sacred land. Make way to the afterlife. What was once your palace, now your grave. Awaken your soul, dive and devour the Red Sea. Take control and drown the enemies. Across the vast wild desert, move your feet along to the rhythm of the sand. Rise and shove it off your spear. Aim your bow, make them bow down in fear. Chaos and new beginnings, find your destiny in the magic and the omen of the mind.
My eyes are open, eternal morning. The crown is golden, I have been chosen. My eyes are open, eternal morning. The crown is golden, I have been chosen.
Awaken your soul, dive and devour the Red Sea. Take control and drown the enemies. Across the vast wild desert, move your feet along to the rhythm of the sand. Rise and shove it off your spear. Aim your bow, make them bow down in fear. Chaos and new beginnings, find your destiny in the magic and the omen of the mind. Wake up, sundown, creatures and gods around. Beware, prepare, it's dangerous, they linger in the dark. Climb from below, temples and tombs will fall down. Explore the realms, what is meant to be, take it all. Obey, hear the voice of God, and the best come to your sacred land. Make way to the afterlife. What was once your palace, now your grave. Awaken your soul, dive and devour the Red Sea. Take control and drown the enemies. Across the vast wild desert, move your feet along to the rhythm of the sand. Rise and shove it off your spear. Aim your bow, make them bow down in fear. Chaos and new beginnings, find your destiny in the magic and the omen of the mind.
Hey, to have peace, yes, Lord, there must be strife. I already see the end of life. I accepted death, my eyes are open. I read and told them there's a light. Eternal life awaits me, yes. No one can dare deny me. I'll gladly give my life. All my people in my kingdom point the way. There's a small price to pay. To God to pray every day. To the promised land, I understand the higher the highest height and the lower the lowest depths. I'm not afraid of my last breath. Life ain't nothing but a test. May the gods only know what's next.
Alarms, hear the voice of God, and the best. Wake up, sundown, creatures and gods around. Beware, prepare, it's dangerous, they linger in the the dark. Climb from below. Temples and tombs will fall down. Explore the realms. What is meant to be, take it all. Obey, hear the voice of God. And abyss come to your sacred land. Make way to the afterlife. What was once your palace, now your grave. Awaken your soul. Dive and devour the Red Sea. Take control and drown the enemies. Across the vast wild desert, move your feet along to the rhythm of the sand. Rise and sharpen up your spear. Aim your bow, make them bow down in fear. Chaos and new beginnings. Find your destiny in the metric and the omen of the mind.
Hey, to have peace, yes, Lord, there must be strife. I already see the end of life. I accepted death, my eyes are open. I read and told them there's a light. Eternal life awaits me, yes. No one can dare deny me. I gladly give my life. All my people in my kingdom point the way. Death is small, price to pay. To God to pray every day. To the promised land, I understand the higher the highest height. And the lower the lowest depths. I'm not afraid of my last breath. Life ain't nothing but a test. May the gods only know what's next.
Alarms, hear the voice of God, and abyss come to your sacred land. Make way to the afterlife. What was your palace, now your grave. Awaken your soul. Dive and devour the Red Sea. Take control and drown the enemies. Across the vast wild desert, move your feet along to the rhythm of the sand. Rise and sharpen up your spear. Aim your bow, make them bow down in fear. Chaos and new beginnings. Find your destiny in the metric and the omen of the mind.
My eyes are open, eternal morning. The crown is golden. I have been chosen. My eyes are open, eternal morning. The crown is golden. I have been chosen.
Awaken your soul. Dive and devour the Red Sea. Take control and drown the enemies. Across the vast wild desert, move your feet along to the rhythm of the sand. Rise and sharpen up your spear. Aim your bow, make them bow down in fear. Chaos and new beginnings. Find your destiny in the metric and the omen of the mind.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the next week of Osiris League Season 7, Round of 16. We are getting closer and closer to the finals where we will see a new, possibly new, or an existing Osiris League champion crowned this season. Today, I get to go ahead and go with you on the journey that is OneV, two-time prior champions of Osiris League. They're going to be fighting one of the three. That's right, count them, 3 teams that the Kingdom of 93 has gotten into the round of 16 playoffs. We're going to have one right now at 13 UTC, OneV versus 93L, the Lazy Lions of 93. Then we're going to have another one at 15 UTC, E301 versus 93T. Both will be cast by me. We also have the 93P match being casted by another caster today too. So you're going to get the full experience of what it is to be a 93 and having all 3 of those matches in front of your viewing screen pleasure. That being said, really excited to bring this match to you. We've got a lot of things going on. There's some teams that have been here before, done that before. And there's also some newer teams that could make some noise, bringing some new energy into the round of 16. Let me jump into the playoffs bracket really quick, and we'll go ahead and go over a few of those as we're waiting for this match to get started. First off, on the right side here, I wanted to showcase the fact that all 3 93 teams are in the same bracket system here. So unfortunately, there's no potential for a 93 versus 93 setup like we've seen in other matches, and maybe the realm of Anubis from Kingdom 1960. But this will still be very good. We have some very solid teams here. JST being a previous Osiris League winner here Of course, we have, like we said earlier, 1V having your 2-time Osiris League season winner and grand finals winner as well. We've got so many different storylines just in the realm of Horus alone. I'm really excited to go ahead and bring these to you as we unfold what will be a nice, solid 3 weeks until the finals. And then, of course, you understand we have 3 rounds in the finals too. So that's 3 weeks of more content and more action coming your way. Let me go ahead and jump back to the caster booth really quick. Let's go ahead and get the ball rolling and see if maybe we have a match to view. It looks like we might. Yes, we do. Let's go ahead and jump in and go ahead and cover up a few things because I want to make sure that we don't give anybody an unfair advantage. We do have viewership of the ability to see the skills. That is why there is a 12-minute delay alongside of the fact that there is the sentry skill. We want to make sure that we don't give away any strategy, especially as we get closer and closer to the finals in each one of these realms. We don't want to give any unfair advantage to the opponents for each team. Still going through the menu here, trying to get through it. The looks like the skills popped up. Let's go ahead and jump in. I'll see you guys in the game. All right, we have the Temple of Osiris sitting right dead center, nice and pretty. Let's go over to the 1V side, and we see the 1V team porting in, having a great time to start their first match in the round of 16 for Season 7 Osiris League. Looks like everybody, right? That's 21 plus 5, that's 26. Plus 3, that's 29. We're 1 short. We might see 1 reserve coming into the Vanguard, or 1 person is just coming back from their coffee break. And on the other side, again, we have one of the 3 teams from Kingdom 93, the Lazy Lions team. We see here a nice full stack. This is actually 7 times 3, that's 21, plus 6, that's 27, 28, 29, and 30. All 30 players from the Vanguard are in the match already, ready to rock and roll. Miss Lion King from Kingdom 93, he was fun to play with. There's tons of players here that are longtime players of Rise of Kingdoms. Again, this game has been out for almost 5 years, people. Can you believe it? And so far, we're in Season 7 of Osiris League, and every season has had its own fun storyline to go through. I'm interested to see what some of the strategies are here. 93 is not going to be afraid to shake it up. 1V has had a obviously successful strategy in Osiris League multiple times, including, again, those 2 winning seasons. Interested to see if there's going to be some kind of difference in this matchup. We do see the T1s getting fired out for the 1V team. Don't see a second. There's the second one going to the closer of the 2 obelisks. Let's jump over to the 93L side. And we do have those balls rolling as well. T1s from both sides. Looks like 1V is a smidge ahead on the T1 deployment. That's not a huge deal, especially if they're that close. We're looking to see these obelisks captured very, very quickly. Now, we've also seen some different skill strategies going on. I'm curious if we see more of the all damage bonus buffs, especially the newer ones like Total Vision, some dust up skills where we see some vision reduction alongside of more buffs on top of it. We do have Hidden Sentry being used by 93L right in front of where all the marches should be streaming down towards the Desert Altar. We're going to be viewing those pretty much the next 3 or 4 minutes of this match as we await the arc spawning in just over 11 minutes. A little bit farther north is 1V's Sentry here. That's interesting to see if they wanted to get some vision towards what could possibly be a heavy assault towards the Sky Altar of 93 on the top lane here. I'm curious to see if that's exactly what they're trying to do. Now, if we zoom out again, I have vision of both teams as it sits from a bird's eye view. As long as I don't zoom all the way out like this, I can see some things. Now, if I zoom in right about here, I can see every single march and what their visibility is from a team perspective. And conversely, we have 93L over here on the bottom, taking the obelisk, both obelisks taken, 3rd outpost being taken by 93, just a smidge more quickly than the 1V team, but not that big of a deal again. Should be moments until this structure here turns blue. It is available to be captured. We do see 93L pouring to both lanes. Again, usually the strategy is to split your team up evenly between both teams so you can assault structures alongside of defending structures. The T1 march from 1V, very forward, trying to see if maybe they can do a little bit of strategy, possibly capturing a Shrine of War off tilt here, or possibly trying to kill itself. And he skips the rally. He goes and gives that rally a wave, maybe a little bit of harassment with some verbal commands coming out from the player here from 1V. Monster Mochi with his new Justinian rally. This is a very strong rally we've seen used to devastating effect in current KVKs. Justinian causing massive, massive damage alongside of usually Nevsky or Joan, depending on which way you want to play if you're going to get swarmed. The Joan rally, not too bad considering the AoE damage that it can do. Tons of 1V marches swarming this area, trying to kill as much as possible. They're heading straight for the obelisk area, which is very weird. Looking to possibly block the obelisk teleport spots. We have 2 minutes and 30 seconds until, I'm sorry, 1 minute and 13 seconds until this structure goes blue. And skills being used already here. Dust Up being used very early. Dust Up being used by 93L. And this rally is getting swarmed down very quickly by the 1V team. Now, again, 93L, I think the strategy here is to cover up all the teleport spots as much as possible. This will also help in going after the structure if they so choose. But it looks like they're bypassing this entirely and going straight for the obelisk. An interesting play. Like I said earlier, looking to see 93L use some unconventional strategies to win this matchup, because 1V, again, is a tried and true. Look at this. 1V deciding to go the traditional route, going after the Desert Altar with about 60 seconds until this building unlocks and being taken by either team, being available at least to be taken by either team. Right now, 93L defending at least as best they can. Don't see as many marches here for 93L, the red team, as 1V. It looks like 1V is doing a great job of trying to hold this area forward and not have as much concentrated area around the Desert Altar. Let's check the obelisk area again. I'm really interested to see if they can flip this. If they don't block the area, it looks like blocking area is getting teleported into right now. This is the closest obelisk for, I'm sorry, it's not the closest. It's the second closest obelisk for 1V to port into. So this was the one to go after, in my opinion, for 93L. I think 93L was hoping to grab this obelisk a little more quickly to delay the teleport times. Now, again, there is some spots here that could be messed up. There's a formation that a lot of the top tier teams in Osiris League use as they port in here. And it's been practiced over seasons and years and years. Looks like a lot of 93L marches are eventually going back with sad faces. 1V cleaning this up very nicely. But again, the delay was not achieved by 93L like I think they thought they wanted to get it. And this swarm is doing good damage, but unfortunately not quite enough to take it. A sliver of health on this Yan. And ooh, they do take it right at the end. I wonder if the Yan garrison that 1V had there was destroyed. We do have a Guan garrison now for 93L. Again, not the best garrison, but this is probably one of the more popular garrisons because that's what usually takes the structure. 1V taking it back, but again, this delays not only the ability for 1V to port in this area, but also delays the teleport generation of 1v2. So they may be a little bit behind in getting folks to the front line. Not a huge thing here, but 1v capturing all of their altars and also the desert altar of 93 as well. So this is going to be something that 93 has to address with 6 minutes left until this arc spawns. The desert altar here looks like it's under a decent amount of duress, but a nice Jadwiga garrison for 1v. 1v is definitely known for using cavalry garrisons. It's just a lot speedier. Looks like a double C garrison, another cav garrison being used by 93L, but obviously not the best choice as it gets sent packing. But again, delay in point generation will always be appreciated from both teams for their opponents. We do have a couple more marches on the open field here, trying to do a little bit here, but I don't think it's going to be quite enough as 1V starts to bring out their marches from their teleported armies in. Let's go to the bottom lane here and check that out too. Will the defense here be strong enough to hold? And now the Shrine of Life also being turned to blue about 45 seconds ago. This is going to be something that 93 really has to address, not only to take these structures back, but it looks like they may have a problem keeping these structures as the match goes forward, which would be a big deal for their point generation right now, which currently sits at only 130 points per minute. 1V only has 80 because they lost their obelisk here for just a few minutes more. But again, this will all even out in just a couple minutes with 5 minutes remaining until this arc spawns. Big fight around the Shrine of Life here. Let's check the Desert Altar. Desert Altar is still very light for the red team. 93L not taking this back with any kind of quickness at the moment. Are they building up? Well, they can't. 1V is in the face of 93L on the low lane here. In fact, a couple taps on this building here did a little bit of devastation, I think. We also have a little bit here too. Marches coming out of the cities here that were able to port in for 93L at the very beginning, but there's still plenty of open field here for 1V with likely some more coming. Maybe not. Maybe they're going towards the middle. They already are going towards the middle, and they have secured the Temple of Osiris with 4 minutes, 20 seconds until this building releases its treasure, the Ark of Osiris, which is kind of a big deal considering we have Osiris League, and for individual non-seasonal things, we have Ark of Osiris, and that's where you get your structures and take the Ark of Osiris in the middle, gather some points up, the first arc being worth 3,000 points, then it escalates to 3,500 points, and 4,000, and 4,500, and so on. We do have a Sky Altar take by 93L on the bottom lane here. Looks like there's nothing here to defend it, though, except for what is inside the Sky Altar itself, so this will likely be a non-capture, but it's definitely a point delay generation, which is good. 93L heavily assaulting the Desert Altar here. Looks like they took it for just a moment, and now they have Jadwiga from 1V holding this structure as best as they possibly can. We have a Justinian rally with Swarm. That's going to be one of your toughest things to hold, and as you can see, even the powerful 1V having a little bit of struggle here, getting very, very low on the garrison, as we see Jadwiga trying to hold this structure from the heavy rally and swarm of 93L. This would be a good time for them to take this structure because we have 3 minutes until the arc spawns, and 93L is going to be behind going to the middle as 1V has already sent quite a large contingent to the middle. It is holding very strong, though. Oop, there went the garrison, and there went the actual building back into 93L's hands, at least for a moment. Trajan Garrison, not the best choice for 93L. That's looking to switch. There it is, YSS, the choice for 93L as they try to fill it with as many different troop types as possible. That's the benefit of having a YSS-led garrison, or a Dido-led garrison, or Heraclius-led garrison. Desert Altar going back in hands of the 93L team. Same thing with the Shrine of Life here. 2 minutes, 27 seconds until this Ark of Osiris in the middle spawns. That's actually really great timing for 93L. And we do see 1V starting to really pour it on in the middle. Looks like they maybe peeled out a little bit to defend some of these structures as they went in to the middle. I like the position of 93L. They do have these buildings currently, 3 altars in the red color. 93L looking to grab these and maybe hold them for a little bit. If nothing else, they're delaying point generation for 1V. 1V not familiar with this. What they are familiar with is absolutely destroying the teams in the middle that they are fighting against. Curious to see what the skill selection for both teams are. 93L looking very strong in the middle here, well stacked up, pulling back to try and grab 1V. 1V obliging, really pushing hard on 93L. Let's zoom out just a smidge as the skills start popping off. Total vision being used. 1V looks to have a little bit heavier contingent here, a lot more condensed than 93L, and we start to see the match in the middle really start to pop off here. 93L continuing to have 3 altars in their color as this middle fight pops off. More and more streaming from both sides to the middle. 1V very familiar with winning this middle matchup. They usually tend to stomp whoever is in the middle, so interested to see if 93L can win this fight. This would be something that would be a little bit of a shock to a lot of people viewing this matchup. More and more 93 coming into the middle. Same thing for 1V. There's going to be a big fight here, and it's going to last for quite some time. Looks like this Sky Altar on the bottom lane is blinking, meaning it is under assault. Same thing with the Desert Altar. Still under assault from contingents from the red team 93L. More popping in. This is going to be something that we see for the next probably 3-4 minutes. 40 seconds until the arc actually spawns, but 1V does have a very solid position separating the 93L red team away from where the arc will spawn. That's going to be in their benefit. If 93L wants to contest the actual arc itself, they're going to either have to beat 1V outright on the open field, which it's looking like is happening less and less as more and more red marches start going back with sad faces. And again, they're going to have to move towards the Temple of Osiris to actually get in position to grab it. We do have one player, the double C led March, Sung Shin from 1V, positioned to grab that effectively. It looks like 1V wins the mid fight as expected from most viewers, just because of their ability to absolutely swarm and AoE their targets. Very strong contingent move here from 1V. Let's see some of the health marches on this. Lots of mid to decently. Look at this. We have a lot of marches that are mostly half health or more. That's going to pay dividends as they start to shift towards the Desert Altar here from that mid-fight win. Altars are evened up right now. In fact, all structures are evened up right now. Both teams having the same amount of structures. Points per minute is in favor of the Lazy Lions right now. But again, that's going to change as this altar on the bottom lane goes back to blue and generating points. And we do have 93L trying their best to hold this. We do have a rally going up to the Shrine of War as well in the bottom lane. That's going to be interesting to see if that plays out, or if people were going to hold there instead of pushing down on the Desert Altar. They have a lot of people. 1V coming over in strong force. And again, like I said, at least half health or more on a lot of these marches. So this can cause a significant amount of damage against the red team. Red looking to clear the field here and hold, but Jan is struggling. Jan is struggling to hold this Desert Altar, but 93L pops reinforcements in. That's the right play. You're going to get a lot better trades as you're filling this structure faster and faster. You want to kill the high damage dealing marches like Joan here, like Nevsky here, like the new Archer Commander here. We do have health debuffs from Scipio, causing some structural damage too. Jan going down a little bit farther than they like, probably. Lots of blue members still here, but also lots of blue members very low now with that swarm and open field damage from 93L coming into effect. But we do have a rally coming in with fresh reinforcements from 1V and more reinforcements from the middle of 1V. This may be the nail in the coffin for this building as more reinforcements coming for the blue team. It is completely surrounded. Jan holding on by a thread. I don't think he's going to be able to hold it right here at the very end. And there it goes. Blue team 1V grabs the structure. Points stop generating for the red team, which is a disaster for them. 380 points per minute. 590, which is the standard for 1V, in their pockets every single minute. And they own the Ark of Osiris and walking it back pretty casually, I would say, with absolutely no defense and no defense needed, because 93L is doing their best to get their Desert Altar back, and 1V pushing the initiative, going over to these structures to kill their marches to get them back more quickly, but also to stop more marches coming in to try and take this Desert Altar back. Getting this Desert Altar back is crucial for 93 to stay in this game, as it is a 700-point game right now, which is not too bad at all, but there's 3,000 points in the pocket of 1V. Sitting pretty. Now 93L looking to hold their Sky Altar here as well. Zenobia is the choice, which again is a very strong Osiris League garrison because of the heals and the tankiness. But the problem is you want to fill it with infantry, and infantry are deathly slow, and speed in Osiris League is king. Got to make sure that you can at least fill this with infantry. It's definitely tough to do. Only the top teams can do it, 93L being one of those top teams. So curious to see if they're able to hold this as more and more 1V flood in to the Sky Altar area. It looks like the Desert Altar for 1V also under assault, although it is a single rally. No support on that structure. Same thing here. We have a Tariq rally getting killed there on the Shrine of War. And then this Sky Altar under minor assault as well. So it looks like heavy force push for 1V. Not only capturing the Ark of Osiris already, by the way, I wonder if they feel like they need to capture more Arks of Osiris to beat 93L. I think 93L has shown very well so far, being able to hold a lot of their structures and hold 1V structures. Not typical for 1V losing as many structures as they do right before that mid-fight, but what was typical for 1V was a major victory in the middle lane, as we see another march coming up through the middle for 93L and 1V. I doubt they're holding this area for the Ark. They're looking to maybe come up through the middle to go ahead and harass these outposts. But 93L is a little bit on the back foot right now. They're down by what looks like about 4,000 points. That's a big deal. They also are down by one of their altars, and one altar is under heavy assault. But it looks like that Zenobia is holding firm. Very good job from the 93L team holding that Sky Altar under heavy duress. Desert Altar is still blue, though. Jadwiga Garrison, forward for 1V. That's what you're looking to see if you're on a forward garrison. Having a proper garrison lead captain with a cavalry commander is ideal because it's farther away from your starting area, and you want to have cavalry be the reinforcements coming in. Those are faster troops. 93L pouring over here to try and get this back, though. It looks like they will eventually do so, but at heavy cost, that rally goes down of 93L. Again, just getting harassed on the open field. 6 minutes left until the next arc spawns. We do have the Shrine of Life under decent assault as well, but Flavius Garrison is the choice here. Again, infantry garrisons being the choice of the 93L team. Interesting conversation to have with them possibly on why they're choosing infantry commanders instead of cavalry commanders from a speed reinforcement perspective. Whereas, again, the two-time champions using almost all cavalry commanders on their forward as well as their home bases. Being able to reinforce a little bit faster has been able to maybe keep it in their color for more often and generating more points that way too, which is very strong. Jadwiga Garrison here, Jan Garrison on the bottom altar. Again, Desert Altar still blue, although heavily surrounded by the red team. Guan Garrison will go down very quickly. But it is also one of the most popular garrisons in the game because that's usually who takes the structures. We had a Guan and we had a Boudica Prime. 93L looking to consolidate their forces and recapture what they've needed. So far, they've done so. Although, again, it took about 2 minutes, which delayed point generation considerably. We also have about a 4,800 point lead in favor of 1V, and 1V also has the points per minute advantage for at least the next 1 minute and 30 seconds. We do have skills that are likely to be going off here very shortly in about 4.5 minutes. We're looking to see another mid-fight. I think the thing is this. If 93L can't win the mid-fight, and 1V is consistently just grabbing the arcs and capturing them, that's going to be the death knell of this match. Even if the 93L team is able to really disrupt the point generation of the structure game for 1V, it's just not going to be enough if 1V can just capture all the arcs of Osiris at 3,000, 3,500, and 4,000 points. You're looking at 10,500 points for 3 arcs. It's very hard to have a delta of 10,500 points against a team like 1V on their structure game. They are swarming this Jadwiga Garrison, although it is very tough to grab. Again, Justinian Rally, they may actually get it done. There might not be quite enough garrison reinforcements coming in for 1V, although we do have marches. There's a garrison reinforcement march. It's coming in hot and does make it through, just trying to get in. I'm not sure why it's going all the way around the side here instead of jumping in. Why are you walking? Why didn't you go in? Somebody is yelling at that Julius Caesar-led march. Why are you not inside of the structure here? And now we see this, a red structure. I don't think I see any type of garrison here. Forward for the red team, although maybe that Justinian would do an okay job. But XY, not your best garrison in the middle. At least Boudica Prime and YSG would be pretty good too. There's your YSS-led garrison. Again, I understand the mechanism and the thought process behind YSS being your choice. You can still use cavalry as reinforcements coming from your home area. But again, it's just not one of the stronger garrisons in the game right now with Jadwiga and Jan. And there goes YSS down again. Very strong output by 1V. Losing the points per minute game here, but still doing just a fine job all around. They're down by 60 points per minute versus the red 93L team. This mid-fight, it may not even start. Look at this, 1V pushing all the way down to the 93L rally point. And we've got 93L with very minimal vision right now. 93L placing their sentry somewhere else and has no vision for the middle other than the Temple of Osiris here. And that has allowed 1V to really push into the 93L starting area. And if we look at both of the visions now, look at this. 93L not even get the chance to get their forces together. 1V not giving any kind of opportunity for 93L to get together. And that's, I think, something that you have to appreciate. 1V not letting off the gas. 1V having that killer instinct, seeing 93L because of the tower sentry here placed by them earlier. Again, that skill being a 0-point skill, allowing to be placed whenever the timer goes off. And again, it has a 12-minute timer duration. So very good vision by 1V being able to see 93L building up, but also seeing that they had way more marches than 93L does. In a minute and a half until this arc spawns, this isn't even going to be a contest. 93L seeing that, at least the majority of them seeing that, pulling off towards the sides to possibly push, as they own 3 altars right now, maybe to help defend some of these structures here. Jan Garrison in the front, exactly what you want to see. We were talking about that earlier. 93L holding this with a Jan Garrison, tons of cavalry around to do a little bit of garrisoning, although that one was an archer march. But this middle lane here, completely and totally owned by the blue team, 1V, 2-time champions of Osiris League. This is tough. This is tough for 93L because, again, like I said earlier, I think the only way for 93L to really get back in this is to capture 2 arcs, especially the next 2 arcs. And if they can't even get into the middle to contest the arc, that's going to be a tall task for the red team to be able to go through. So 1V really doing exactly what they need to do, driving that killer instinct home and not letting 93L even have a chance to consolidate, even throwing dust up on 93L, limiting that vision, limiting the speed and all that good stuff. So lots of debuffs on 93L right now. 93L hasn't really used anything at this moment. They should have a pretty big point total for alliance skills to be used. I'm curious if they're going to use them to try and get back in this game from a structure standpoint. Maybe they've used some structure skills to put on the bar. This is still blue, still red, but looks like it's going to go blue here very shortly. The Q Bing and William Garrison not doing what it needs to do, and there it goes. Blue team takes their own Sky Altar back and has now taken the 93L Sky Altar, with Wu Garrison being the choice, at least for right now, until they maybe get a bigger one. But they may not need it. Look at that. Cleaning up the field of 93L is 1V, and 1V now holds 3 of the 4 altars in their color. Hidden Sentry being used by 93L. Curious to see where they put this one. Exactly where they should have put it in the first place. They were a little bit behind, and now, again, the arc is now walking back relatively unscathed by Witcher on the 1V team. Always using the double C primary, which is exactly what you should be doing. Is that a Julius Caesar as a secondary? Maybe for more troops, the troop capacity. Not a whole lot of extra march speed from Julius Caesar from a commander standpoint. That's an interesting combo. 1V holding this fort area, or this arc area down. Again, holding 3 of the 4 altars. Looks like they got zoned out. Well, not zoned out. They've just started killing all the reinforcements coming in from the 93L team as the rally starts to come in from Shrednar. We have Shrednar also coming in with his single marches to try and get this back. Cool guy as well from 93, trying to do his damnedest to come over here and take this away from this Wu Zetian Garrison. Hidden Sentry being used by 1V. Let's see where they place it. Yeah, just a little bit ahead, right? 1V placing stuff for the next 10 minutes. And then 93L placing things for the last 10 minutes is what it seems like. Just a little bit behind on their visibility was 93L. And again, that just kind of lost that mid-fight for them without even having the chance to contest it. And it does look like this is going to be a heavy Shrine of War assault here for 93L, trying to come over here and do a little bit of a counterattack to harass Witcher over here of 1V. There is some possibilities here, but 1V reacting appropriately, not only sending marches over here to garrison the Shrine of War, but also kill the open field marches that are continually streaming in from 93L. Now, it is under heavy assault. Let's go ahead and see if I can pull over. You can see all of it coming over in front of you as another rally goes down towards likely the Shrine of Life. Lots of marches over here that can cause some damage. Witcher looking like he will go down to the Joan Prime of 93L. There it goes down. Again, this still needs to be pulled back to a building for the red team, and there's the building for the red team. This could be something that could be helpful to 93L. Nice counterattack, trying to clear the field. They need more marches up here as the arc gets picked up again by 1V and moving closer and closer by the same player, by the way, as well. Pulling it closer and closer to the cities of 1V. This is only going to help them defend this Ark of Osiris. Now, Shrine of War is taken by the red team, but now the people who were likely here to at least try and defend the Shrine of War are now moving on the open field, trying to drop the Ark of Osiris. This is getting closer and closer as we inch closer and closer to 1V, capturing this second Ark of Osiris. 3,500 points on the line here, but it is a 7,000 point swing if 93L is able to capture this arc away from 1V. 1V inching closer and closer. This is going to likely go to the blue team. Joan Prime not going to be able to cause enough damage for these last few inches. And as we get closer, it is captured by 1V. There is the 7,000 points. Well, now it's 9,200 points advantage for 1V. 93L doing everything they can to try and claw their way back into this game, and 1V just shutting the door on each attempt. This is where the season comes in. This is where the two-time champions start to flex their muscles as we go into the final 30 minutes of this matchup. 9,400 points in favor of the blue team, and it looks like 1V looking to stomp on the throats of 93L. Now, 93L taking the obelisk over here. It looks like it was maybe a little quick march that was trying to harass the Ark of Osiris carrier. We do have a garrison now, 1 minute 45 seconds, but I think 2 or 3 marches will take this back relatively quickly. And this is only 20 points per minute that 1V lost. And with a 9,000 point lead, 9,500 point lead now, it may just not do what 93L needs that to do. Let's look at some of the other altars as we continue on towards the last half of this match. Jadwiga Garrison still in favor on 1V here. Desert Altar is heavily assaulted by 93L all match, but again, pretty good job by the 1V contingent here, keeping this in the blue color for the most part. There's been good reinforcements, good garrison swapping, and then again, 93L providing a lot of open field support for a lot of these pushes, and sometimes actually winning those matchups. But again, it's just not frequently enough and for long enough to offset all these Ark of Osiris being won by 1V. The first match being a pretty big rout in the middle, massive fight. Second match, fight didn't even get a chance to get started because 1V was able to push down towards the congregation area of 93L and stomp out their marches before they were even able to touch the Temple of Osiris. More reinforcements coming in just to sit here. I mean, just being a little bit faster, and a lot of that has to do with a lot of the cavalry being used here. We have Guan marches, which aren't usually the speediest. There's a archer march as well, but lots of cav marches on the front lines being able to go ahead and defend the area and reinforce the Desert Altar. 93L looking to do whatever they can to take these structures, but Wu Zetian again holding firm. The Sky Altar away from 93L. This is supposed to be red, but blue team continually taking this Sky Altar on the top lane away from the 93L Lazy Lion team. And I don't want to say that they're lazy because they're not. Just their alliance name is Lazy Lion, and, that's how they do. 93L trying to do everything they can to stop the bleeding. Unfortunately, the bleeding is getting a little bit out of control. Now it is a 9,000 point match. Almost 10,000 point match in favor of the blue team. Blue team looking to close the coffin, close the door on the hopes of 93L being able to advance into the next round. I believe it's the semifinals. 93L Tariq rally going by the Desert Altar, taking back their own Desert Altar and starting to generate some points. But again, still far behind from a points per minute perspective. Is 93L going to start pulling together this quickly? Yes, they are. They need to be able to defend their rally point, which is a big deal. They saw the last matchup in the middle really struggle because they weren't able to get as much troops to the middle in one spot as quickly as they could. Let's look at some visibility here and see if 1V... See, 1V has so much vision here. Let me go ahead and click that. Yeah, 1V still has so much vision. They know exactly what 93L is doing. On the opposite side, 93L has some vision as well, finally placing that tower sentry there and giving them a lot of visibility too. But man, I hope that we get to see this mid fight. I haven't seen the skills being used by the 93L team very much at all, so there should definitely be 10 points available for this middle fight. Desert Altar going down in favor of the Lazy Lions as well up here. We just had a vision of that earlier with the Jadwiga Garrison. YSS again, the choice here for the 93L team. As this mid-fight starts now, are they going to peel over and try and hit these guys from the back? I think that's a good choice. Hitting these reinforcements coming in is a smart idea as we go to the middle and get both visions going. This is a smart idea to limit the reinforcements coming from one lane. It won't win the day, but it'll definitely help. Nothing on the other side is happening for the 93L team. They're just trying to pour into the middle, but I don't see anybody coming from this bottom lane for the red team. Conversely, we see both lanes from 1V pouring in troop after troop after troop. Do see more marches coming in from 93L on the top lane here, stopping reinforcements coming in, but also getting swarmed down a little bit too. This is a double-edged sword. You're causing damage to the opponent, but you're also causing damage to yourself. And while this is a solid move, if you have superiority in the middle, just don't think that you do have enough superiority in the middle to go ahead and win the day with having all these marches coming into the middle with at least half health or less. More fights, and now I think the tables have actually turned here. 1V turning on the aggressors of 93L, and now it is a curb stomp fest here on the mountain range for 1V. Building's still red, by the way. Desert Altar looks like it will eventually go to the 93L Lions. Maybe generate a few points in their favor. That would be very helpful for them. Again, they would need to keep that for a significant amount of time for it to make any kind of difference. And just like that, 1V has now owned the area for their reinforcements, and now we have more marches coming into the middle for 1V than we do for the 93L team. 93L is going to have to continue to pour marches in as they get their marches back after being trounced on the top lane there. Here we go. We do have some skirmishes happening right in front of what is their own self-aggrandized shrine. 1V staring at their own victory shrine as 93L pulls up in front here, trying to get all their marches into one spot as quickly as possible. 1 minute and 39 seconds until this arc spawns. 4 altars, by the way, in the red color, which is really good for them. If nothing else, stopping the point generation is strong. Total vision being used by 93L very early, also kind of signifying that they're going to be pushing now. Dust Up trying to nullify a little bit of that. To the Death being used very quickly. Total Vision being used by 1V. Total Vision and To the Death is one of the strongest combinations of damage you can do in Osiris League and Ark of Osiris system. So this is a big push for 93L. They know they need big chunks of points coming in. The problem is they may not just have enough troops here to take advantage of all that damage that they just used. 1V just tanking this damage. They are starting to lose some marches here. Blue team losing a little more than the red team, although it's starting to even out now. And again, the fact that it's even somewhat evening out without 1V really using any kind of defensive skill or to the death skill, it's kind of telling here. We do see a lot more of the red team going back here as To the Death wears off. I mean, even a Heaven's Grace would have basically made this an absolute shellacking. So many marches here for the 1V team. 93L just not quite able to compete in the middle, and it's not anything of their doing. It's just 1V is just that good with that many equipments primed and ready, that many proper pairings for the commanders. Same thing with the 93L team, proper pairings and all that good stuff, but just not enough troops. And now we have almost a full contingent of 1V pouring out. I wish it would show me when I'm clicking what I'm trying to show you. All these marches with near full health coming over to the sides. Desert Altar already getting tried to defend by the 93L team. Everything is back to 2-2, and this could possibly now swap over to blue team, maybe grabbing 3 or 4 of the available altars on this map. Truth coming over here, trying to place himself in harm's way. 1V saying, go ahead and sit there. I have a few buddies coming with me. We're going to come over here and try and take down this Desert Altar after absolutely destroying your entire team in the middle. 93L really wanted that one. You could tell for a few reasons. They used their top 2 damage dealing skills in the middle. Conversely, 1V was not really needed to use their skills, and I don't think they actually had the points to do all of them anyway, but it obviously from this contingent coming from the middle of 1V on the blue team really doesn't need it. 93L was not able to accomplish what they were looking to do. They did their best. Just wasn't quite good enough. Running charge being used by 1V. Curious to see what that looks like. Coming over here to quickly move to defend a pretty much already defended Desert Altar. A little bit of a BM move there. The fact that you have running charge on your bar is another thing. Very curious why that's the choice versus, say, one of the newer skills or one of the other 2-point skills that could possibly give you a little bit more statistical advantage during fights. 1V choosing to go with running charge instead of one of the other skills that could benefit them statistically. Nice fight seeing 93L trying to go ahead and capture the open field advantage here. 1V making it very difficult, though, with all these marches being blue and doing exactly what they did in the middle, and that's basically send home red marches with sad faces. These guys are really good fighters, too. One of the best kingdoms in the game, so I mean, it's not like 1V is just steamrolling these guys because they're bad. 93L is a strong team with strong players. It's just showcasing how good 1V is and why they have 2 wins in Osiris League under their belt. They're able to impose their will on the open field basically at their leisure. And with that being said, 1V looking to take this Desert Altar away from this Yanleg Garrison, and there it goes with Rally and Swarm. Relatively easy for that to be taken. Now 93L trying to do the same thing. I don't see a rally here. This is just raw Swarm, but this Yan might not get enough reinforcements to be able to hold this for as long as they need. No reinforcements yet. We're getting into triple digits here. Now there's a reinforcement, and now we start to see the big numbers going for the red team on their marches. That may be the last little bit that they needed to do what needed to be done. Now, why is this player not swarming? I don't know. DJ Dolomite spectating, doing a little supervision with some very solid marches that could have made a bit of a difference. But looks like 1V holding that strong. We have a Zenobia-led garrison again over here on the Sky Altar. Again, very strong garrison, but really hard to reinforce with the slower infantry troop marches. That can be augmented by using commanders as a secondary that maybe have some speed. Problem is there's not a whole lot of ability to do any kind of resource hopping to utilize Guan's expertise or things like that. Scipio having some march speed is definitely helpful. Then maybe you can add in another march that does some march speed bonuses as well to do some garrisoning, but it's still tough. Infantry are just base slower. 1V looking 40 seconds until this building starts generating points for the blue team, and they still have tons of open field marches here to defend this structure. This may be just enough to be able to do what needs to be done. Now, interesting, Sky Altar did go down in favor of the red team. I'm not quite sure why that happened. A little bit of a slip-up oversight for 1V here. I thought they had plenty of marches here to hold, but looks like Dolomite did what he needed to do. This Justinian, along with his 2 other marches around here, doing what it can to hold the structure. May not last for very long, but very strong move by red team here, 93L, to take that 1V structure. 10 seconds until this Jadwiga garrisoned 1V Desert Altar that should be 93L's captures. Looks like blue team pulling back in favor of looking to garrison the structure a little bit more effectively instead of the open field fighting that now 93L starts to have the advantage of. Jadwiga looking like it's going to go down here very quickly. Let's zoom in a bit and see the health bar of Jadwiga. See if it pops up another 1 or 2 times as they fill the garrison. It does not. Looks like 93L takes the structure back and sends the garrison packing. And now we see this bottom lane looking very red, by the way. Shrine of War looks very red here and decently held. Although it looks like it may go down here momentarily. Arc is being held as well, by the way, by the 1V team. Witcher holding it over by his own city. Was forced to capture it on other bordering cities earlier as it was under harassment last match for the counterattack of 93L. But it looks like Witcher just doing a little bit of a coasting around, showing off the Ark of Osiris to him and his teammate. 9 minutes, 40 seconds until it respawns, but 16 minutes until this match is over. Likely holding this for another 8 minutes or so until there's no more effective ability for the middle fight to happen. Although, again, why 1V would ever hold the Ark of Osiris for longer than the minutes it takes to take the Ark back to its structure, I will never know. They have very few chances to lose fights in the middle. I don't know if I've ever seen 1V lose a fight in the middle. Maybe once. Not quite sure if it ever happened. But here we go. 1V continuing to pour out here. The Ark of Osiris sitting there nice and pretty and safe. What's not safe is that, oh my goodness. What? Okay. Why did this rally cancel? You generally don't see canceled rallies at this level of Osiris League. So there's no reason to cancel rallies in Osiris League. You want to get your marches back as quickly as possible. As you can see, these marches here not going back very fast because there are still troops in them. Whereas this march here, having killed itself, same as this march here, having killed itself, is already back at its city. So not sure why the rally was canceled. That was just kind of weird in general. That's an unseasoned maneuver is what I'll call it. We do have the Sky Altar here again of Zenobia on the 93L team under heavy assault. This is looking very, very strong for the 1V blue team. It is still a almost 10,000 point match. 93L doing a decent job of recovering some of the points per minute advantage that 1V has enjoyed for a good chunk of this match. Does in fact though go down for the blue team, and now everything I just said is flipped, and the 1V team now has points per minute advantage for themselves after taking that Sky Altar. Shrine of Life on the bottom lane under heavy assault as well. 1V pushing hard. 93L trying to come over and defend it with this Flavius garrison. Again, remember, all the buildings in this map have different garrison numbers. So 1 million is the total for Shrine of Life. 1.5 million is the total for Desert Altar. 2 million for the Obelisk. And 500K for the Outpost. So not very good on that. Now, if you send a rally on a city, you get the full contingent. You can have a 3.6 million march on this, depending on what kind of rally you're sending. That can move a lot of troops across the map very quickly. So a lot of people use that for troop transport, which is a very smart move. Shrine of Life looking dangerously low, and just like that, there it goes. Sky Altar over here from Jan-led garrison on the 1V team. Jan YSS is the choice for 1V on the Sky Altar, and it is pouring out the damage as one march maybe is hitting the Sky Altar, not doing very much damage. And then the YSS is coming over here and hitting these red marches as well, causing a lot of AoE damage. To hit these reinforcement marches coming in to try and get this building area back and cleared. Andy going back home for 1V after getting destroyed on the open field, but having done the damage, the Sky Altar looks like it's going to start taking points for the blue team, which is exactly the wrong thing if you're a red team fan. I would be interested to see as well who everybody wanted to win this match versus who everybody sees is going to win this match. You want to go ahead and throw in the chat your favorite team of this matchup, go ahead and do so. Show some support, whether they're winning or losing. Also, please pay attention to the chat because there are and have been, I believe, some codes for you guys to enter into your own account to possibly get some rewards inside of your Rise of Kingdoms account. And it's first come, first serve. We do have 93L trying to position itself to take this building back, but it is already generating points for the blue team. And now we see a 740 points per minute advantage versus 210 of the red team. This is looking tough for 93L to come back to. It's 11 minutes, 50 seconds until the next arc spawns. But if it is not captured, if it's captured in the next like 3 minutes or so, it's going to be impossible for an arc to be captured because of just the raw time it takes to move an Ark of Osiris from the center where it spawns to the closest building, which would either be the outpost here or a desert altar. Everything blinking blue though, but the problem is all four altars are also blue. So 1V really just sticking it into the 93L gut, just giving them the death blow. 11 minutes, 11 seconds with this Tariq rally. Unfortunately, just getting whittled down little by little. And that's hurting the ability of 93L to be able to continually rally this over and over and over again. 1V really just doing everything they need to do to win this matchup and advance into the semifinals. Again, 1V being the favorite in this matchup by a large number of coins. Also, 1V being one of the most decorated Osiris League champions next to OV, who was also a two-time champion as well. 1V continuing to hold this desert altar, smashing all the open field marches from 93L. Lots of Guans. I'd love to see all these Guans. Lots of AoE silences popping out for the red team. And lots of AoE damage popping out for the red team. But unfortunately, 1V just really owning the open field. Again, this is no surprise to anybody who's ever watched 1V fight in Osiris League. Really can't surprise you. That's what they do. And because of that, 93L having a really hard time owning any area of the field that they want. And just like that, again, this structure looking very blue and continuing to stay blue. Even with all these red marches around it, swarming it, it's just not going to be enough. 1V continuing to send march after march after march over here to defend, garrison, and kill the open field swarmers. It's exactly what you need to do if you're the blue team. Red team just doing what they can to make this a closer match as 9 minutes, 30 seconds remain in this matchup. Again, one more minute until this really becomes likely the time when this arc gets captured, which are still holding it in between these two cities. And all four altars are still blue. Oh, as soon as I said that, Sky Altar goes down in favor of red. Good job. Red taking the Sky Altar back away from the blue team. 93L owning the open field now finally and being able to capture this. Although, Guan Garrison does nobody favors. There we go. Zenobia popped in there. Lots of open field marches here to pour in here to be able to keep the structure alive and under the red purview. But 3 altars still on the side of the blue team. And again, still 740 points per minute. Ticking positive for the blue team and only 290 for the red team. Starting to finally clear up the blue marches is 93L over here on the top lane. Desert Altar looks like it could be a nice fight too. It is. 1V continuing to hold every way they can as this Jadwiga starts to get swarmed down by the red team. Now, red team doesn't have quite enough concentrated marches over here to do the deed, but there are more coming in with rally going by to attack the Shrine of War again. That Tariq rally that we saw earlier, almost dead. Let's take a peek at the Ark of Osiris here with 1 minute and 45 seconds until this captures. 8 minutes left until this match is over. Again, now's basically the time where you can start to look at this arc getting captured. He is inching closer and closer. You always want to be careful. You don't want to wait until the very last second. The damage is done. The timer's locked in. Now is the time. If it's captured right now, there really is just no way for a victory in the middle to lead to any kind of arc capture. So this needs to happen in the next minute, or we're going to see 1V lose 4,000 points. Although it doesn't go negative, so they're still going to win the match, but they would lose 4,000 additional points that would go onto their total. Desert Altar still heavy fighting over here. Looks like it may go finally back down. What is it? Oh, we have Master Strategy being utilized. 1V again. They've done this in the past. Master Strategy being used. 1V utilizing this, sending 30 troops over wherever their target is, and that's exactly what they've done. 1V pushing over here towards the obelisk to try and take this ninja right before. 24 seconds left until this arc is supposed to be reset. Are they going to just let it? Okay, we need to go back and forth. If it gets to 5 seconds, I'm jumping over here. Dust up being used by 93L as well, trying to limit the mobility. I've got. What are they doing? Oh my goodness. Did you see that BM? My goodness. 1V just doing everything perfectly. With like 1 second or half a second left until that arc was completely respawned and they lost the points. They capture it. They also do the Master Strategy move as well, simultaneously swarming down this obelisk and capturing it as well. Now 6 minutes left until this match is over. Obviously this is irrelevant from a who wins standpoint. 1V has definitely won this matchup with a 17,000 point lead at the moment. 93L doing everything they can just to alleviate the problems. We do have a Dido garrison sighting right here on this obelisk with plenty of marches over here from 1V to at least hold the area a little bit. And if they start streaming marches over here towards the obelisk, this could be a disaster. 1V could potentially start porting in. There's space here. There's definitely space here to port in if you're 1V. There are also 6 teleports available for 1v2. And there's 1 minute and 13 seconds until this captures for 1v. As you can see, there's plenty of space to teleport cities into. Curious why the red team hasn't done that. Only 2 buildings or 2 cities in the home area. 55 seconds until this pops blue. I'm curious to see if this actually works out. There's a rally over here. No, it's not a rally. They're trying to get their marches back quickly. I thought they were rallying troops and just forgot to... You know what they should do? They should rally the cities. They should rally the cities with like 3 or 4 rallies. All full rallies. And then also do the master strategy skill. You could move like 5 million troops that way. Really quickly. Or more. Or more troops. That would be really, really interesting to see if they did something like that. Dido looking dangerously low. 17 seconds. They want to keep this, don't they? Oh, there it goes, red. We don't get the chance to see if the blue team can teleport in and have a little bit more fun with these guys. 93L obviously understanding the situation. They're just wanting to make sure that they don't lose their obelisk anymore. Now, conversely, do have a Minoled garrison by this 93L player. Doing the same thing to 1v with only but 1 march. It's all about efficiency here. And Guardian is efficient. He took 1 march and he captured the obelisk. 1v came over here and took 30 marches and eventually captured the obelisk. So how about that? We have 3 minutes, 42 seconds left. Obviously, there are no more arcs available for this matchup to see. 38,000 points for 1v versus 20,000 points for 93L. This will be a win for 1v, but what a fun match to watch. We got to see some new skills being used. We got to see 1v really showing they're still one of the strongest open field fighting groups in the game. Really putting it to a strong 93L team. 93L is no joke. A lot of these players are strong seasoned veterans who know how to play the game and have quality equipment, quality commanders, quality pairings, quality strategy. But 1v just that little extra where they're able to really throw their weight around and do what they want to do. Desert Altar here, still very blue, having been taken by the Tariq rally here. Let's look at the Sky Altar over here. Oh boy. Big push by the blue team. Just under 3 minutes left. 1v really, I don't think they really had to stress too much. Although I will say again, 93L did a great job of taking structures away at certain points in this game and holding them, but just not able to win the field. Even not even in the middle, like right now. Heaven's Grace being used by 93L. So all the marches are still going to get some heals. Even now, like 1v is still really kind of keeping this area active. Like 93L can't just kill and move like they want to. They want to just destroy this and push forward. But they can't because one more march comes in from 1v. One more march comes in from 1v. They shuffle around a little bit. Start killing again. One more march. One more march. One more march. One more march. It's tough. It's tough. You kill everything coming down, and then there's 3 more marches right there at your doorstep. And just like that, that's how you lose an open field fight. Now, I will say, Desert Altar, oh goodness. So many marches coming down for 1v. Is this a major push on the obelisk again, or what's going on here? Let's look at some visibility here. 1v does not see the marches coming from the bottom here of 93L. They're going to be revealing themselves shortly, I think. Here they come. And the side flank begins with the 1 march here and another one popping up right here. Big fights here with 1 minute left in the match. Looking forward to going over the summary with you all. I'm curious to see what the total severely wounded counts are. I'm also curious to see what the healed counts are. I know 93L doesn't quite have the power numbers that 1v has, but it's also a little skewed because they did have migration at the end of KVK as well, just very recently. So that might not be fully reflective of the power that these players have. I will say 1v does tend to have more power in general because they are really built to be a Osiris League team kingdom. Running charge being used by 93L as well. So both teams using running charge, it looks like. confused over here. Double C led double C led March tried to ninja this obelisk away, but not quite effective enough. Let's see the final fights here as we count down 5 seconds until the remainder of this match goes away, and we have a 17,000 point win for 1V, taking down 93L, a very strong team in this Osiris League season. 93L, it's handsome, comes away with the MVP at 230,000 points from the Lazy Lions, Kingdom 93. But 1V winning where it counts, these points are critical. 10,500 point Arc of Osiris, we talked about that earlier. If you can get those 3 wins and not allow your opponent to get any, that usually is the death knell. Even as strong as the structure game was for 93L, still not able to pull even with the blue 1V veterans. And just like that, provision's a little bit higher, but basically being all but ignored by 1V is the provisioning. Now, looking at the totals for the kills, we do have 87, almost 88 million kills for the 1V team with 75 million kills for the 93L team. That's respectable ratio. It's not a blowout, but it's also not quite close enough for 93L to have really done what they needed to do. Look at the units healed, though. 28 million units healed for the 93L team versus only 500,000 for the blue 1V team. I hope you guys enjoyed this matchup. I know I did. I always love to see 1V doing that master strategy skill. We've pretty much seen that every match they've been in. And that means they're putting it on their bar every single week, which means that we could maybe see that in some finals action against one of the best teams in the league. So really looking forward to seeing some of that stuff if they do not get eliminated before the finals. And then certainly, again, it was a great matchup by Lazy Lions, but unfortunately not really being able to pull out the win in the end. 1V advancing. Looking forward to bringing you more and more matches. Come back here at 15 UTC as we continue our coverage of Osiris League Season 7 on this Sunday. This is Dragothian here, your host. Look forward to seeing you guys then. Cheers. Have a good one. And take care.